Hello, class. Today we're going to discuss mean absolute deviation. As our objective for today, please make sure you take notes, write them down, write down your examples, watch this video as many times as you need to, and most importantly, ask questions when you don't understand. Make sure you answer the questions along the way so you can get a better understanding of the assignment. What is mean absolute deviation? Mean absolute deviation is the average distance the data is away from the mean. And the strategy that we're going to use is our math SAD. I also gave you calculator tips to make sure you practice on your calculator tips. That's in your math journal, so utilize those as well. Step number one with math SAD, we're going to find the mean. In order to find the mean, it is our average. So to find the average, we have to add and divide by the total numbers in our data set. After we find our mean, we're going to find our absolute value, which is the distance each number is away from the mean. So we have to subtract, which is our S. And the last step is after we subtract and find the absolute value or the distances away from away from our mean. Keep in mind, distance is a positive number. So step number two, all of my numbers should be positive. So after I subtract and find positive numbers, I'm going to go to step number three. That means the last step will be to find the mean again of our new set of numbers, and then we're going to add and divide with our new set of numbers. So we're going to go ahead. All right, the heights in inches of 5 people on the basketball team are listed below. So we're going to find the mean absolute deviation. There's a hint. Use your academic vocabulary. Step number one is we're going to find the mean. So we're going to cross out our M. In order to find the mean, we have to add all of our numbers together, and then we divide by how many numbers there are in the data set. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers in the data set. So 315 added together divided by 5. Our mean is going to be 63. Step number two is we must subtract. So once we get to step number two, we got to subtract each of our data point numbers from the mean. And remember, the distance is always going to be positive. So we have to subtract 65 minus 63. We're going to subtract 63 minus 58, 65 minus 64, 63 minus 61, and 67 minus 63 will give me all of my distances away from the mean from in my data set. So I'll subtract. Last two steps will be to add and divide. We got to add and divide our new values. So we're going to add 2 plus 5 plus 1 plus 2 plus 4. That should give me a total of 14. Add them, divide by 5 numbers. My mean absolute deviation is going to be 2.8. Okay, guys, we're going to do number 2. The length in minutes of different movies showing at the theater are listed below. 120, 153, 117, 125, 135. What is the mean absolute deviation of these numbers? So we're going to do our mad sad. So in order to find the mean, we must add our numbers together. Once we add, we should get a total of 650. Then we're going to divide by how many numbers there are. There should be 5 numbers in my data set, which will give me the mean value of 130. After I get 130, I'm going to subtract 130 from each of my numbers in my data set. Remember, this has to be a positive number, so 130 minus 20 is 10. 153 minus 130 is 23, so on and so forth. Okay. After I find subtract, I'm going to add all of my new numbers together. My new numbers is going to be 56. Then I'm going to divide by how many numbers there are, which is 5. My mean absolute deviation should be 11.2. All right, the list below shows the number of text messages the 5 students sent from their phone during the school day. What is the mean absolute deviation of these numbers? So remember, we're going to do our math add. So 34 plus 12 plus 49 plus 8 plus 2. Remember, we're going to add those numbers together, which is 105. After we add, we're going to divide by a total of 5 numbers. And my mean is now going to be 21. Remember, you have to subtract 21 from each of the numbers in the data set. Remember, it is distant, so each of these numbers should be positive. So subtract 21. This should be 13. Sorry, 13. This should be 9. It should be 28. It should be 13. It should be 19. After we subtract each of the numbers from 21, we're going to add them together, which is going to give me 82. 82 divided by 5 numbers. My MAD is going to be 16.4, which is C. Let's go to your turn to practice.